Hey there, I'm Lee Ullman here with some big news from the National Young Farmers Coalition. We're partnering with Heritage Radio Network on a special season of The Farm Report. It's all about what's happening with the Farm Bill and how it impacts farmers and eaters.
I am growing diversified vegetables on land that's been in our family for 150 years.
And so with the pandemic, gentrification, property values going up, we had to sell the land and we lost it.
Join us as we uncover the untold stories behind this massive piece of legislation that shapes how we grow our food, what we eat, and so much more.
The problems we have had, those are things that come from earlier Farm Bill and USDA policy, right? Like Earl Butz, get big or get out.
You know, it's my responsibility to know not only what I'm eating, but then like how that all came to be. And realize like, wow, like this piece of legislation, all this money, like it's technically something that I support as a taxpayer.
While Congress debates the next Farm Bill, this is not just an invitation to listen. It's a call to action. Be part of the conversation. Subscribe to the Farm Report on Heritage Radio Network, wherever you listen to podcasts.
You need a CPA that you can trust with all your taxes and financial needs? Look no further than Joanne Flash Fleming at Fleming & Associates CPA. For more info, go to flashfleming.com or email Joanne directly at joannfleming@flashfleming.com.
You're listening to Heritage Radio Network. We're a member-supported food radio network broadcasting over 35 weekly shows live from Bushwick, Brooklyn. Join our hosts as they lead you through the world of craft brewing, behind the scenes of the restaurant industry, inside the battle over school food, and beyond. Find us at heritageradionetwork.org.
We talk about food, we talk about music, with musical dudes, finger on the pulse, snacky tunes.
Welcome to Snacky Tunes. I'm one half your host, Darren Bresnitz.
I'm your other host, Greg Bresnitz.
We are coming to you, I can't say live because this will be recorded, but we're coming to you from LA. It's our first fully recorded show out in LA. Shout out to Cameron for letting us use the studio, and shout out to Winnie for giving us such a really good deal on the spot. We have an awesome, very LA show today. We have the boys from Hatchet Hall and the man from Honus. Welcome to Snacky Tunes, guys.
Thanks for having us.
All right, so Brian, Jonathan, you guys are both from the South.
Yes, sir.
Right? Brian, Georgia, Jonathan, Florida.
Florida's not really the South, but
it's like its own country.
It's its own country. Its own country.
Shaped like a penis for a reason.
Are you offended when people say it's the South?
No, because I was born in North Carolina, so I've seen both sides of it, and I have family in North Carolina, so when I go back there, it's definitely a little bit different than, for, say, Florida.
People from the South get offended when they call Florida the South.
Do you get offended when someone's like, Florida's the South?
Yeah, I get offended when anybody associates me with Strader because he's from Florida.
Oh, yeah, that's... So we're going to talk about the dissolvement of your partnership right now. He couldn't get over the Florida bit. I'm really sorry that had to come out. But so growing up in Georgia, I mean, that's like sort of that's a pretty good, well-known cuisine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who cooked growing up? Mom, dad, grandma, anyone?
I think it was pretty standard. Mom cooked pretty much every meal unless it was cooked on the grill.
It was like that standard.
Yeah, that's standard.
Wow.
And what were some of the more memorable dishes growing up?
The interesting thing about my family is that my sister and I are the only two from our family that are actually Southern, because my whole family is all from Colorado. My mom had 11 brothers and sisters who are all ranchers, who all turned out to be ranchers, or who raised cattle or raised corn to feed cattle. And then my dad had one brother who's now a banker. But we were like the black sheep of the family, and we moved away from there and grew up in Georgia.
Would you ever get packages of steak or meat from the ranchers? No?
No.
Okay.
So, and then you said you're from North Carolina, but grew up in Florida. Where in Florida? Which city?
Vero Beach.
Okay.
Where the Dodgers did spring training for many, many years.
Oh, okay. You ever go to the games?
All the time.
All the time?
Yeah. It was one of those things where I grew up with Brett Butler's batting gloves and, Eric Karros and the Mike Piazza days was when I was really into it. So it was nice being able to see those guys develop their careers, like coming into spring training. And it was really interesting. That was kind of a driving force in the local economy as well. That's kind of why I got started in restaurants, because of all the snowbirds that would come down. And
oh, really?
Yeah.
What was your first restaurant job?
Working at the Palm Court, which was this like sleazy diner with palm tree carpeting, and used to walk around with the bus tub and clear all the tables for all the gray hairs, and getting yelled at for more coffee, and the coffee's not hot enough, and
then the coffee's too hot, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then it's not too hot. It's one of those things that no one's ever happy in those situations. So it's definitely prepped me for working in restaurants my whole entire life. So
just they like if you can survive the gray hairs at 4 p.m.
Exactly for the blue plate special.
So what brought you guys out west? What made you when did you start thinking about the other side of the country?
Well, for me, I worked for a guy named Hugh Atchison out of Athens, Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
He's like kind of my chef mentor, and I worked for him for a couple of years, and he did like really cool, I want to say Southern food, but definitely with a California influence, because he was the executive sous chef at Gary Denko back in the day, I think opening sous chef. And I was like, oh, this is awesome, but I want to move to California, and I want to do like super, super fancy food. So I came out here to work at Providence for Michael Cimaruski.
Oh my God. So just working for Michael and Hugh alone is that's a hell of an experience.
I think, from Hugh, I learned how to run the kitchen in like a unconventional, cool way. Cause he was always like super chill. He always empowered us. There weren't many recipes, so everybody learned how to cook really well. And he ran the kitchen with, respect, and it was fun, and it was mildly laid back. Then coming out here and working with Michael, he also ran the kitchen with respect and dignity, but it was, he's a serious dude. But he's honest. It's like if you do something good, he'll be like, great job. And if you do something dumb, I'd be like, you're a fucking idiot.
What approach do you take in your kitchens? Is it like somewhere in between? Like,
nah, I'm definitely more on the Hugh side.
oh yeah,
Yeah. Like, personally, I never was able to function very well or at my highest level in this kitchens because I was always like, ooh, I'm going to get in trouble or somebody's going to throw me under the bus or this or that. But at 5 and 10, you know, with a little bit of empowerment, it just like motivated. And I feel like, you know, you have people that work well under high pressure and, you know, then you have other people that work well when nobody's looking over their shoulder. And I think it's just kind of, you know, you hire people, like-minded people, and then you let them, they're good at what they do, and then you let them do what they're good at and figure it out their way.
Have you had some people that come through the kitchen that definitely wanted like the more kind of intense, like, you know, yell in their face and you're like, this is not the place for you, please exit from the kitchen?
Yeah, pretty much, but
they weed themselves out.
Yeah, exactly. We don't like any bad, I don't want to say bad seeds.
Yeah.
Like, it's never fun to have to walk on eggshells around people in the kitchen because there's enough pressure and, you know, it's fast enough that you need to be able to, you know, work at your own pace. I don't want to say pace, but
yeah, but you got to be on the same program as everyone else.
Yeah, for sure.
And what brought you out west?
Just opportunity. You get to a point in places like Florida, if your parents don't own a business or anything like that, you kind of have to search elsewhere.
Yeah.
And being from Florida, the next best place I could think was Los Angeles. I'd never even been here. I just came here with a bag full of clothes and a couple surfboards and just decided to say fuck it and let's just go for it. And just started working in restaurants when I got here, and just that's all I know.
What was your first place out here?
I worked at Houston's in Santa Monica.
Oh,
which
yeah.
was like one of the most intense, like, corporate places for somebody like myself.
Listen, their spinach artichoke dip is, I mean,
that's what I hear.
I'll fuck with it. I mean, it's not bad.
It's not bad, but it's one of those things. It was like for structure. For me, I definitely learned a lot there of what I take for now, being in the position of where I am in the restaurant industry. I definitely put some of those things into it, but with my own sort of personality.
Yeah. How'd you two meet?
Watching the sunset.
Oh, it was like you were walking down one end of Santa Monica Pier, and he's walking down there. It's like
we were both blacked out.
Yeah,
we found each other. Joe's restaurant on Abbot Kinney, which just recently closed, but it's been a fixture in LA for. I think they went for over 25 years, which
it's pretty good.
Crazy.
It's pretty good. Yeah. It's really good.
Because I left Joe's and I was a chef at U.S.A. restaurant, and Chris Tamanaga, who we opened Wolf and Sheep's Clothing with, we were both sous chefs at Joe's before I left, and he got promoted, and I met Strader through Chris at Joe's, and then we worked together at opened Wolf and Sheep's Clothing together.
All right, so let's talk about that moment when you guys meet, and then you're becoming friends, and then how did you decide to become partners? Because that is like, you were signing up your life to someone else, right?
Not at that point.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Strader?
It was just one of those things. We both were young, and we kind of needed each other to be able to continue our careers in a way that we wanted to do it. Because once you do a project like Wolf and Sheep's Clothing, you don't really want to work for anybody else, or you don't want to have somebody over your shoulder or somebody telling you what to do. You kind of grow in a sense and learn as you go, and you know, iron it out as you get older. And from each one of the projects that we've done leading up to this point of Hatchet Hall, we've definitely grown up from sitting at the poker table at Wolf and Sheep's Clothing, pounding scotch and skateboarding around the restaurant. But we were no longer allowed to do that in the capacity that we used to 6 years ago. But
yeah, we'll never do another project as cool or as fun as Wolf and Sheep's Clothing.
And for those of who are listening who are not educated in, what was the concept behind it, and what was the food that you served?
There wasn't really a concept necessarily. We got connected with a lady named Alana who owned Capri on Abbot Kinney, and they were just like, you know, they do like 2 covers a night, and we ended up courting her, and it's like, hey, we'll pay your rent, and we'll ride out the rest of your lease, which was only like 7 or 8 months, and we'll do our thing, and you'll get paid, and we'll do our thing, and we just went in there. I think we started it with also, this was with Chris Tamanaga, who's now working with the Pally. We started with like $3,000 from the ground up. We made some. We had his mom like sew tablecloths out of like shitty, like cheesy, floral patterned fabric that we bought, and then we bought a bunch of mismatched plates, stocked some food, and then just started cooking. And then we had 6 burners and half a deck oven in the place.
So this is 2011.
Costco fryer.
I mean, there wasn't, 6 years ago, the LA culinary scene was completely different than what it is today. So
for sure.
Opening up a place like this and this approach, how did people react? What was it like? And what were some of the dishes you were serving as well?
We did like a smoked trout rillette with like avocado toast before avocado toast was cool. I hope. We did the biscuits that eventually carried over to Heart and the Hunter, which was like our our signature dish there. We would do stuff like cast iron roasted quail with cornbread and smoked maple syrup. We did some rabbit dishes. We changed the menu all the time. We were young. I was 27, I think, 27 or 28 at the time. And then
doe-eyed, fresh face.
Oh, dude, we
should look at photos of us from then and now. Like, oh my god,
we were like degenerates back then. It was crazy.
I mean, was it this thing that but there was structure because you came from serious. No,
there's no structure.
Okay, all right. So let me. I mean, so then how did it do? How did you keep the doors open?
Well, we were
busy
every night. So it was cool because it was like you walked in and like we were kids and we were crazy and it was obviously super passionate.
Yeah.
We just walked into the place and like
owned it.
Put our heart into it and owned the shit out of it. You could like you walk in there and it was like, oh my god, these guys did this themselves. It looks like shit. Like we had the shittiest bathroom of all time. There's like dicks drawn all over the place. One time Owen Wilson,
classic dick drawn restaurant.
Owen Wilson walked in the bathroom and came back and walked back out and like said something to my ex-girlfriend. Was like, I like your dicks. It was bad. It was just like
it was punk rock. Yeah, it was punk rock. It was one of those things where you get an opportunity to do something like that. It's just you could feel it when you walked inside the room. For everybody that was working there, everyone owned the position that they were in. From like the dishwasher to everyone that was waiting tables there. Everyone had their unique personality, and everybody wanted it to succeed. That's the hard part of restaurants is getting everybody to believe in the concept and what you do. And we didn't even have to try there because it all stems from the top, and that's what we try to do with it. What we're doing now, it's like if we don't give a shit, no one else is going to care. So it's what we put into it is what we're going to get out of our employees.
And then how do you, and we'll talk about it after the break, but how do you take that like passion of youth that like just balls to the wall, like we're just doing it, and how do you start to grow that as you grow up and want to do something that's a little bit more serious and not lose some of that like youthful spirit and like passion?
Just be slightly more organized, learn how to do numbers, and don't get sued.
Yeah, don't be a dick.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's we come in a business where everybody in LA is doing something different. Especially for me, having to manage the front of the house, it's more of managing personalities.
Yeah,
and everybody needs something different to get the most out of them. And recognizing that is, I think, something that a lot of people or a lot of management that I've worked with in the past don't really do well at.
Yeah, like Wolf and Sheep's Clothing, it was like, what, 45 seats, and there's like 10 employees. I don't even know. It was super tiny. It was, it kind of ran itself because there wasn't much to manage. But now it's like, we have 65 employees, and now we have like 140 seats, and we're, doing significantly more covers and stuff like that. But you can't do everything yourself. Like, we used to do everything ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, we were like definitely more hands-on. And but now you have to run it like a football team. It's like everybody that you hire, bring in, has their own individual skill set or talents, and you just have to place them appropriately. I think that's your job, and then let them run with it, and just guide them a little bit.
Awesome. Well, we're gonna take a quick musical break, pull something from the archives, some snacky tunes, and talk about Heart of the Hunter and Hatchet Hall. Here on Snacky Tunes on heritageradionetwork.org.
waves of fire, with my heart rushing in my ears. Salvation in her eyes, melt away the tears. Blow me light and love, sigh and blow me. Temptation in her lips, we'll take a few more sips. No more panting, no more sorrow. Jackie started slow, taking me higher. The melancholy rain is keeping us in. The cannons and the clouds and the chains of memory. Jackie, baby, whoa, it ain't no sin. Miss your lover, taking me in. Don't tell nobody, it's just you and me undercover. Oh, Jackie's kisses, 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 Jackie's kisses. Will always be so much to me. 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 Jackie left a little love, speaking desire. We cannot just begin. I miss you very much. To cry together every day, we have to stay in touch. And Jackie, baby, take my hand, smooth your tresses. Tears are falling on stocking tops and newly sewn summer dresses. Oh, Jackie's kisses, Jackie's kisses, Jackie's kisses, Jackie's kisses. Oh, Jackie's kisses, Jackie's kisses, Jackie's kisses, Jackie's kisses. Will always be so much to me. 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 Will always be so much to me.
Welcome back to Snacky Tunes. We have the boys from Hatchet Hall here. So after you guys did Wolf in Sheep Clothing, you were out in Venice, right? And then you start moving sort of more inland, I guess you can say a little bit. And you open up Heart and the Hunter, which I know that living in New York, like when that restaurant opened, it was one of the first restaurants that made people from New York start to pay serious attention to LA.
Did I know that?
Yeah, neither did we. I didn't know anybody knew who we were outside.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, we all learned something new today. But how did that restaurant? How did Wolf sort of wind down? And how did Heart wind up?
Well, at Wolf and Sheep's Clothing, we hit the end of the lease, and then that was taken over by David Reese, who owns like A-Frame and Alibi Room and the Brig and all that kind of stuff. And we moved on, and the Pally House group approached us, and we kind of we set up shop in a coffee shop. So they basically let us come in, and we converted, in quotations, the kitchen into our own little kitchen, and set up the pass on like an island which was basically like where the cash register was, and we turned that into an expediting station, and just rolled with it. We were cooking off of induction burners, camping burners with little butane tanks, and like tabletop
it was gangster
ovens. Yeah,
it was funny because I thought that the kitchen setup would have maybe gone up a little bit. It sounds like it took a step down.
Who made the tablecloths?
We used the same ones.
Yeah, and you had $400 to start this one, right?
This one we had a little bit more, but
But did any of the dishes come over, or was it a whole brand new concept?
Yeah, the trout and the biscuits came over for sure, and then
so what was
ended up being our signatures.
And what was the approach on this one? Like, what did you? I mean, the lease ended, and you sort of knew that was coming for Wolves, but like, were you like, okay, we're going to try a completely new concept, or this is going to be like an evolution with a new name and a new space?
Since Wolf the Sheep's Clothing is an Aesop fable, so we kept with the fable names. The Heart and the Hunter is another Aesop fable, so we just kept that going. And I think at Wolf and Sheep's Clothing, we were trying to figure out what we were. I guess we weren't really trying because we didn't really care, but. We pulled over some of the classics from there and just kept on rolling with it. And then we got a couple of reviews that really, let us know what we were, which apparently we were a southern restaurant. We didn't even know we were going to be that. Like, goddamn biscuits.
I mean, but you're Southern boys. Well, sorry, one Southern boy and one guy from Florida. Because I don't want to get punched.
I don't want to work for that.
Yeah, and then we had Chris from Calabasas, who's an Asian guy. Yeah. So it was a mixed bag.
But how did you come up with the menu? How did you come up with the approach for this? And like, what defined you, or what allowed other people to find you guys as like a Southern restaurant?
The biscuits. Jonathan Golden, those goddamn biscuits. It's like you always like do these dishes, and then you have in your head what are going to be your signature dishes, but in reality, it's not up to you. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Yeah. He wrote that review, and it's pretty much all about the biscuits, and all of a sudden we were the biscuit kings. I really had nothing to do with the biscuits other than telling Chris we needed to put them on the menu, but because it was a recipe that he had and then just kind of worked on and developed, and then that turned into our...
Yeah, and then he hated the biscuits at the end of it because he'd have to get there and prep all of them, and then he wouldn't let anyone else do it, and then it was funny.
And he'd complain about it all the time.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, fucking biscuits.
Fucking biscuits. But no one else could do them. Fucking biscuits, right?
He wouldn't let anybody else do it.
Did you threaten to take it off the menu at any time? It was like, this is the last week.
No,
we didn't want to...
We probably should have. Now it's like, once people like something on the menu, like really, really like it, we're like, all right, fuck this. What do they know? We're taking it off. And just change it.
And how was the run of that restaurant? How did it, you got great reviews, things like that, but it definitely skyrocketed our careers.
That's what really put us on the map. Wolf and Sheep's Clothing was kind of like a little indie dandy. And Heart and the Hunter was a little bit more established because we never got any reviews at Wolf and Sheep's Clothing because it was a pop-up restaurant,
right?
But Heart and the Hunter, that's when we got hit with everything at once.
And how was that?
It was great. We got more than we ever could have asked for.
Yeah.
Here we are.
And then we were there for a year and a half, and then after the year and a half mark, we started really feeling the limitations of the space. of like having to do all the prep downstairs and out of a 3-compartment sink, trying to do 3 turns in the dining room. You can't get anything clean. And
did you
we were
upgrade
washing
your
glasses? Cooking? No, it's just like we were washing glassware out of hand sinks, and we like made it work for what it was. But we just needed to kind of go in a different direction. Okay, we did as much as we can do here, and then we looked to do another project.
You got to keep moving forward. You know, it's like, what does Einstein say? Like, life is like a bicycle. In order to keep your balance, you have to keep moving forward.
So, but he never did anything.
Yeah, that's true. He wasn't. So if he was smart, he might have been able to a lot of cool quotes.
Yeah. So what did you guys do after Art the Hunter? What was the next project?
We did like a short-lived pop-up project at Flores on Sawtell, which was actually really cool because we had a kitchen. It wasn't very big, but it was fun because we could do some like real dishes. Like we had real burners, and we had ovens, and we had fryers, and
we had a dishwasher.
Finally.
So we went pretty big on that one, probably too big. But at that point, that's when Strader and I broke off from Chris, because Chris opened Cadet in Santa Monica, and then we did the Gunboat, which got a lot of really good reviews.
Which
as well.
it's not fable as the Gunboat.
It's not. That was actually like a historical reference. We actually caught quite a bit of flack for it because it was tied into the South and the Civil War, which
we didn't really think about.
Yeah, we just thought it sounded like a cool like indie rock band, or something. And it was cool because it was like because we're really into American food history and American history in general, and we just rolled with it. And
what do you guys pull from American history, American food history that influences your restaurants and the way that you cook? Everything. Especially
Hatchet Hall.
Yeah.
You know, people think it's a Southern restaurant because that's what we've been coined from. And we definitely have a lot of Southern influences because we're both from the South. And, you know, the South is, you know, Southern food's one of the oldest cuisines in the country. It's like, you know, that's what a lot of this stuff is built on. But, we dig in pretty deep into the American food history. We cook the majority of the food out of an old, or it's actually new, but a big brick hearth, like a cooking fireplace with some custom inserts. You know, we use flat irons and a grill. We have andirons. We have cranes. We have we have trivets that have all kinds of fun things to cook, like in cast iron in the hearth. You can hang stuff, which is really cool.
I mean, let's talk about Hatchet Hall. Because 2 years now, awesome reviews, awesome establishment. Do you feel like this is like, you know, all the other restaurants were leading up to this one?
Well, Flores was hard kind of the way we left, because we left the person we were working with there who kind of promised some things that weren't exactly panning out the way that they were supposed to. It's kind of like the bait and switch we got on that one. Yeah. So it's kind of short-lived. But we still planned on doing that project in addition doing Hatchet Hall. But when we let them know that we opened escrow to do Hatchet Hall, we got the boot.
The boot?
They dropped the hatchet.
Yeah, dropped the hatchet on us. So we were unemployed for, 6-7 months?
But you had each other.
Yeah.
Right?
But the ramen noodles on unemployment.
but the whole time, you know, that we were quote unquote unemployed, that's when we were working on Hatchet Hall.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a blessing in disguise, right?
Yeah. It's like I have zero regrets about anything I've ever done in my life, because like one thing always leads to another, like very organically. It's like if we wouldn't have done that short-lived project, you know, Hatchet Hall probably never would have come up. We actually, the day that we shook hands on doing Hatchet Hall was the day that our Jonathan Gold review came out for Flores. When he called it a pop-up, we were like, pop-up? We're like, fucking told you so. Peace. We're out. That's the day that we decided to do Hatchet Hall.
Yeah, so we would sit there before Hatchet Hall and just we thought about every single detail for months. We'd meet every day and just talk about every detail, mock menus, just service style, just like everything. We had like I have like a Hatchet Hall Bible on like Google Sheets from everything from like music to decor, and we started Pinterest accounts. It's like we were ready to go.
You know it's serious when you're starting Pinterest accounts.
Yeah, 2 straight guys with Pinterest accounts.
I was back at home, like going over stuff with talking to my parents like over Christmas, because that was like the first time I'd been able to go home for a long time. And my mom's like, Brian, if you want to design this properly, you should use a Pinterest account. And I was like, there's no fucking way I'm doing Pinterest. Yeah. And she's like, well, you should just try it. So we came back and I was like, Strader, was like, we should do a Pinterest account. My mom told us to do a Pinterest
my girlfriend was like, you guys need to do a Pinterest. And we're like,
by the way, Pinterest is really awesome.
Well, that's how we design restaurants now.
Yeah.
So basically,
it's a vision board for the designer. You're like,
I know.
here, do this.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are great to work with.
We had like 100 different boards with hundreds of pins in each. We had like thousands of pins, like everything from, hearths to taxidermy to, wait staff aprons and all that bullshit. And then we just handed it to the lady that helped us design the place, and she was like, she's like, you guys know exactly what you want. This is going to be amazing.
Yeah, we had our patio, our private dining space, we had the old man bar, we had everything. Just
old man bar? Did you thank your mom?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's talk about
mom, you were right.
Let's talk about old man bar.
Oh, old man bar, that's a place where you go to hide from your family and get drunk.
Okay.
So I call. So we have a sous chef. Actually, he's now chef de cuisine as of yesterday. Hey, Martin! Congratulations! He grew up in Culver City, and he used to come to the Crest House family restaurant, which was what was in Hatchet Hall, way back in the day. He'd come with his grandmother, and he was always talking about they had this little back bar where like all the families and the children would be eating in the diner, and all the men would be in the back like blasting cigarettes, parliaments, yeah, and
running those machine guns, right?
And like drinking whiskey while their families ate, just hiding, which was awesome. So that's what we were like.
We joked bet on the sports teams back there.
Yeah.
Like,
we just joked about calling it Old Man Bar. We were gonna like call it Shotgun Bar, something. We had a whole bunch of different names, but then we were like, Old Man Bar is fucking funny.
Yeah, that's really good.
Let's stick with that.
Yeah.
Plus, our business partner is old as fuck.
Yeah.
He's like, you named it after me. Thank you. So 2 years in, great review. Jonathan Gold, another great review. How do you guys feel about where you are, especially with your journey and, Hatchet Hall and just you guys and, having so many restaurants under your belt in LA together? Where do you see now? Where do you see 5 years?
It's funny because I feel like Hatchet Hall's it's super experimental, especially with our hearth and stuff like that. That's what we're really into is like like full on wood fire cooking, early American inspired food with early American techniques as well. If we could run the kitchen with no machines whatsoever at Hatchet Hall, we would.
Yeah.
But we can't because we do 350 covers a night on a good night. But I think the problem, the mistake that people make is they always blow their load too early. It's like, we're going to do our 30-seat restaurant for our first restaurant when we're 27 and we're not as good as we probably should be and we don't have any money and blah, blah, blah. And then you see those restaurants come and go where we're trying to build from here on out. So this is the starting point. We still want to do a restaurant, quote unquote, a fine dining, our version of a fine dining.
Your 30-seater, two covers.
Exactly.
And
we want to do
two turns.
A totally American history-based cuisine with the limitations of early America. So only fire, no exceptions, knives, hand tools, stuff like that. But, either family style tasting menu, somehow figure out a way to do that properly, or just tasting menu, but done only with fire and knives and stuff like that. I think.
Hey, by the way, Fire Knives, great name.
Yeah,
that's a great name.
Just we'll create a Pinterest board.
That's what we're gonna call it. That's what we're gonna call our boy band.
Yeah. Well, listen, guys. Thank you for taking the time. Really appreciate it. If people want to find more about you, where can they go online?
Straighter.
HatchetHallLA.com.
How's your Instagram game? Good?
It's good.
It's good. I like it.
It works.
Can people see the Pinterest boards?
We can't. Those are all private. We don't even want to see on our fucking ideas.
Yeah. Oh, man. Have you seen the Hatchet Hall Pinterest boards, man? You get them real drunk, they'll start bringing them up on their phone. Yeah. All right, well, we're going to take another musical break. Something from the archives on Snaggy Tunes. And we got Honus coming up live here in LA on heritageradionetwork.org.
Are you filing your own taxes and driving yourself crazy? Do you think a professional can do a better job of finding legal deductions? Do you own a business and need help with the accounting and taxes? Are you a not-for-profit business that needs financial guidance? Are you just plain tired of your boring accountant and looking for some fresh eyes? Try Fleming & Associates CPA. At Fleming & Associates, Joanne Flash Fleming can quantify anything in a flash. She'll do your taxes, assess your worth, and is even a forensic accountant, an investigator of white-collar crime. Joanne Fleming once said,
"It was terribly hard for me to read Moby Dick, but put a financial statement or a tax return in front of me, it's like a novel."
Imagine that. Has the political and financial news got you feeling down? Joanne Fleming was the accountant for the Occupy Wall Street movement back in 2010. Who better to trust with your financial secrets? For more info, go to flashfleming.com or email Joanne directly, JoannFleming @flashfleming.com.
Welcome back to Snacky Tunes. We have Honus live in studio. Can we call you Ryan?
Yeah, please.
Okay, Ryan. Hey, Ryan.
Hi, thank you.
And, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Quick shout out to my lovely wife and your old roommate, Anna, for giving us this wonderful idea to bring you in.
She's an angel, a very tall angel.
She's my angel.
Yes.
She's mine.
Whoa.
Yeah. Anyway, so welcome. So happy to have you here. So most of us know you from the Man days.
Yes.
How did that get started? How did that project come to fruition?
Poor life decisions.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Well, thank you so much, Ryan. That's been great.
Yeah, thanks.
So poor life decisions?
Yeah, I was going to move to Los Angeles after I went to school for like playwriting and screenwriting, and I was going to move to LA after like a year. And then just on a lark, I started a band just for fun.
You were in Philly, right?
In Philly, yeah.
Shout out
to Philly.
Shout out your Sixers, 76ers.
Oh, yeah. Joel Embiid. I trust the process.
So on a whim you started a band?
Oh, yeah. And then it just kind of took over. And then suddenly I was a guy in a band writing and singing songs. And not what I planned.
How did it go from like a lark, can we say?
Yeah.
A whimsy fancy of passing to something like, when did it click be like, oh shit, this is real?
It was that stupid, like, foolhardiness of being young, where I only wanted to make one record and then get on with my life. I was like, oh, this will be cool. I'll make a record. And then, like, years later, like, oh, I made a record when I was younger.
Yeah.
And then,
hey kids, your dad was cool, man.
Yeah, and then my entire band quit on me after the first record. So then I was like, you know what? I'm going to show those guys and keep doing it and make another record.
Spite is a powerful motivator.
Yeah, and spite, revenge, like, yeah, here I am.
I mean, the second record was called Fuck You Guys, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
But honestly, when did it all click? Like, when did you, like, because I mean, you guys were on the road, you guys played festivals.
We toured like crazy.
I mean, you guys were known for your, like, rowdy, fun, crazy shows.
I definitely did see you play the keyboard with your butt at a couple of times.
Oh, yeah. And I actually right here I have a permanent welt from all the times that I pretended to hit my head on the keyboard, but actually did.
Yeah.
It's like my Wesley Willis welt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Or it's my brain pushing out and I'm like slowly dying.
Be like, dude, you have got to stop hitting me.
Yeah, it's why you're an insomniac. It's because this part of your head is like totally screwed.
So did Man get you out to LA? Is that what brought you out here?
I kept telling myself that I would move out here, and so, I lived out of a duffel bag basically for 7 years. And I would sublet in LA, and then I rationalized that once I was successful enough, I would just move out here and have a bi-coastal band, and then I realized that was never going to happen.
Yeah.
So I just, your wonderful wife kind of helped me get out of here.
Bless that angel.
Yeah. And she, when I lived in that house with her, she was like, I have this spare bedroom and there's a couch and you can get a bed in here. I was like, I want to live on a couch for a year.
Yeah.
And see if I can live anywhere for a year.
Is it technically living on a couch if that's your bed and it's a permanent home?
Yeah, I guess so. It was so uncomfortable.
The lumps of life.
Oh, yeah.
So Man Man had its run, right?
It's still Man Man's still a band until I want to not do it. So I'm working on a.
When does a band? I guess that's a good question. When does a band stop being a band when it's just you?
When there's no Coachella offer in the future.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess it's what if you just have a press release.
Yeah,
you got a buy already.
Like I'm done with this.
Yeah.
But it was weird putting out a quote solo record because all the songs I wrote anyway just went into Man Man. I just wanted to see if I branded it something different, maybe different people would get on board.
Did they?
No. So, that was that.
Okay.
So I don't know if the next record will be a Man Man record or Honus or whatever.
But I mean, it's going to be all right.
Yeah, so.
Why don't we hear a song?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure.
What are you going to play for us first?
This is a song for Kong.
Song for Kong. Shout out to Kong.
And it's called Vampires in the Valley. It's a shorty.
Okay.
And so this is all stripped down on this tiny keyboard.
No, it's great. All right, well, here we go. Honus live.
Yeah.
Bela Lugosi lives in the basement apartment of my building, carving a coffin out of Fangoria magazines, pantomime and let me suckle all your blood, please. In the valley of vampires, palm trees and bungalows, ginormous boo monsters and drop-top convertibles. I wish that I could do something to ground him, the king of everything that once was, but now is gone. I only see him at 4 in the morning by the 7-Eleven, smoking prescription warnings, telling me his day will come, telling me his break will come, telling me the rain will come and wash his dreams upstream. Whoa.
Yeah.
So besides branding it a different project, was the songwriting approach or the context of the songs any different from the Man Man songs?
I've been living out here for a while, and I love LA. I love Philly too, because Philly's a really strange city.
I mean, if you live there, you have to love it.
I mean, I drank the water for so long that it definitely affected my DNA.
You drank the water.
The water. I drank the water for so long that it definitely affected my genetics. Like, I probably can't have a normal kid.
What does that mean for us, man? We grew up there.
It's
going to come out looking like a soft pretzel on Tuesday.
Yeah, you're just going to hope that Jaeger blood is strong.
She's from that area, too. Oh, man.
But yeah, and so I just wherever I live is what affects the songs I write.
I mean...
And so I've been out here, and I love how weird LA is,
The album's very much an LA album.
It's like it's a love letter to the city. And to like the stuff that I feel like when most people think of LA, if they've never been here, they just think of Hollywood and red carpets and all that jazz. And that's not where I live.
Yeah. Being East Coasters growing up and spending the majority of my time on the East Coast, like what I thought about LA is completely different than what it is.
Yeah. I agree with you. And no one should move here.
Really?
Well, no one else. I mean, we're here.
Yeah.
You don't want to ruin this place.
Yeah. So, in writing a love letter album to a city, how do you make it, original and personal, yet something that is like anyone who lives here can sort of relate to your songs?
That's the struggle of writing songs. But I never want to write a song that someone can't find themselves in, you know, like I always struggle with that. It has to be objective. So every song is like storytelling. I bury parts of myself in there, and then it's just imagery. You know, I'm like a failed screenwriter. So I pour it into like 3-minute songs.
No, look, failed screenwriters are just screenwriters who haven't found success yet.
Yeah, well, thank you.
You know?
Bless you.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, you hear about all the people who like had the script in the drawer for like 12 years, and then they're like, boom.
They're like
Mad Men.
Boo, Grown-Ups 4. I made it.
Yeah, I'm doing rewrites on the next Garfield movie. It's pretty cool.
Like I skipped 3, I just guessed where 4 was going.
yeah.
They're in Paris.
Yeah. Oh man, Garfield at the Louvre, hilarious.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, whenever I write a song, I just, you know, I really focused on like it being a movie in its own right.
You want to rip another tune?
Yeah. I'm going to play a song that I have never really played live before. It's on the record, but we haven't played it live.
What's it called?
It's called Melted Dice, and it was my version of a love song for a girl.
Okay.
But it probably won't sound like that.
All right.
Song I wrote for my ex. There's a light in your eyes, inherent vice that gets my skin quivering like a baby, taking a breath of this cold world in, which can be over and underwhelming, unforgiving, existential like the shroud of Turin. Whatever fire fuels you within, oh, I hope it consumes me before it ends, like driving on the 10 West. It's a way you can commandeer a room like a sensual caress, can teach a dolphin English, or maybe it's something more pedestrian and I'm blind to it. You make my head spin around like melted dice every time you roll into view. You make all the years behind us disappear like melting ice every time you roll into view. I am yours and you are mine. I'm born an accidental tourist with a demagnetized moral compass, easy prey for dark-haired gypsies who dazzle me with physics, wallow me with rain sticks. Will you be my umbrella, underwhelm me, all-consuming, existential to the point of bruising, whatever fire fuels us within, oh, I hope it consumes me before it ends. You make my head spin around like loaded dice every time you roll into view. You make all the years behind us disappear like melting ice every time you roll into view. I am yours and you are mine. And if I'm questioned under duress, tortured and manacled, I won't confess how many licks it takes me to get to the center of your affection. Feed me to feral dogs in the street, whip me with chains and concrete my feet, throw me at sea and I'll smile as I sink. I'll never betray who you are. There's a light in your eyes, it penetrates and shines right inside me to see not who I am right now, but the man who I've always struggled to be, which can be over and underwhelming, all-consuming, existential to the point of boredom. Whatever fire fuels you within, oh, I hope it consumes me before it ends, like driving on the 10 West. Oh, goddamn.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome song. Hate the 10.
Oh, yeah, the 10 is the worst.
10 is the worst. Last night I was, this is the most LA thing I'm going to say, but I took surface streets to avoid the 10 West.
I do that all the time. Whenever I'm in Culver City and I have to make my way back to the east side, it's 3 hours.
3 hours.
Yeah.
So in addition to Honus, you also have another project called Mr. Heavenly.
Mr. Heavenly, yeah.
Mr. Heavenly.
Yeah.
How did that come about? And who rips on bass for you?
Sometimes Michael Cera.
Yeah.
I'm friends. A good friend of mine is Nick Thorburn he was in the Unicorns. His band Islands, and we've been friends. I put out my first Man record, I think, when he put out the Unicorns record. So
God bless the Unicorns.
And so we'd always talked about being in a band together because I thought our voices would complement each other because he's got the high, I've got the low.
Yeah.
And we finally did it. We put out a record on Sub Pop a long time, 6 years ago. And then it's taken us this long to do another record.
Wow. And
I've been wanting to make music with my buddy Joe, who plays drums, and it just seemed natural to fold all three of us into it.
So is that going to get a tour as well?
Yeah, hopefully in the fall. We're almost done recording the follow-up record 6 years later.
But I feel like that is sort of...
Our schedules are crazy, so
yeah, but I feel like with the music industry today, I feel like that is totally standard now. Where like you come together for a project, and then you go away, and then you come back and do another project, and like people are just down.
Yeah. I mean, as much as I'd like to just tour nonstop like I did for 15 years, like economically, it just doesn't make sense anymore. Unless I want to live out of a storage unit like I did forever.
Yeah.
Like, it's nice having a bed, you know?
Oh, upgrade.
Upgrade, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever think that you could take all three projects on the road at the same time? Opener, middle, closing?
No. I mean, I wouldn't be able to talk. No, absolutely not, ever. That's hell. But when I tour with Honus, I play Man and Mr. Heavenly songs.
Yeah.
So yeah, in a way.
Yeah.
In a way.
It's just not broken up.
Yeah.
But you could get the 3 paychecks.
But a night.
Yeah, they all, in this day and age, they're like one paycheck.
Yeah. But you could do like one special theater show where you did all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. One night only.
Yeah, I'm a total masochist.
So what do you have coming up? So you have the Mr. Heavenly record.
Yeah, I'm working on another. If it's Honus or Man, it's kind of the same thing. I'm working on another record.
Awesome.
I have to give a shout out to my buddy Cyrus, who he produced the Honus record.
Shout out to Cyrus.
And he's the man.
He's your ride or die.
Yeah, it's like I wouldn't have made the record unless he basically forced me to make the record, and so he's my dude.
Isn't it awesome? People are just like, dude, you have to go do this.
Yeah, and
what was his motivational? Did he have a speech or just harass you?
Just kick me, harass me. It was a great foil to have.
Would he just say Bill Paxton's speech from Independence Day?
Yeah, no, it was like the Braveheart thing, but dressed as Bill Paxton.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's great. It's awesome. Well, listen, we want to make sure we have enough time for one more song.
Oh, yeah.
But where can people find you online? Where can people get the album?
Honus.com. You can get it, you can get it online. You can get it on iTunes, Amazon. It's on the streaming services if you don't want me to, ever make any money.
No, dude, you get a couple pennies. A couple shekels.
You get, we won't, yeah.
We don't have enough time to talk about.
Yeah, but it's at independent music stores, and if they don't have it, they can always order it.
Yeah.
So it's got distribution.
Awesome.
And this song I'm going to play for you guys. I directed a music video for it that's going to come out soon.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What's the name of the song?
Will You?
Ooh, yes, I will. I just want to say a special shout out. Thank you to Cameron. For letting us use the studio. First LA episode. Shout out to Kong, to Anna, to the Hatchet Hall guys, to Meatball,
Greg, and to Darren.
And to Pinterest boards everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And to Tom and Emma.
Congratulations.
For putting me in this state.
Right. Do you have a Pinterest board? Do you have any Pinterest boards?
I think I'm going to start one now. Is this podcast brought to you by Pinterest? It should be. I mean, if there's ever a case.
Yeah. As a man who's done Pinterest boards, they are awesome.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to Joel Embiid for bringing the heart of basketball back to Philadelphia after all of these years. I love you, Joel. We were debating calling the Mr. Heavenly record Embiid. Like, seriously, no bullshit.
That's how much you love him.
That's how much we love him.
Respect the process.
Yeah, man. Trust it.
Well, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week with another episode of Snacky Tunes.
Yeah.
Ryan?
Yeah, here's a song called Will You.
Will you blow your brains out on a Sunday? Or will you slag it off until the moon goes down and do it Monday? You said nobody will love you like you need a riddle. You figured you never unravel, and here you are now waiting for the night to turn into another sunrise. Will you blow your brains out on a Monday? Or will you wait it out and see if the love comes round and do it Tuesday? Uplifting message. Hang in there.
We talk about food, we talk about music with musical dudes. Finger on the pulse, snacky tunes.
Thanks for listening to Heritage Radio Network, food radio supported by you. For our freshest content and to hear about exclusive events, subscribe to our newsletter. Enter your email at the bottom of our website, heritageradionetwork.org. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at heritage_radio. Heritage Radio Network is a nonprofit organization driving conversations to make the world a better, fairer, more delicious place. And we couldn't do it without support from listeners like you. Want to be a part of the food world's most innovative community? Rate the shows you like, tell your friends, and please join our community by becoming a member. Just click on the beating heart at the top right of our homepage. Thanks for listening.